And there we go. I think we're possibly live. Evening everybody, hopefully you're all doing really well, and this is a new setup for me tonight on the live stream, so hopefully the volume is okay, you can hear me okay, and the picture doesn't look too crappy. Looks okay, I think. Let's minimize that, and hopefully I can remember my keystrokes, but we will find out. And yeah, hopefully it's yeah, I think we're live. I think it's working. Happy days. So, evening everybody. It is Saturday the 29th of... For some reason Siri kicked in then.
You don't have any events in your calendar for today.
Yes I do, the live stream. What's the matter with you? Anyway, it is Saturday, February the 29th. This is a special day which only comes once every 5 or 4 years or something like that. Thank you, Kath. So this is our first leap year stream. How convenient is that? I don't know if it's convenient or not. So who out there has had a female person propose to them today? Which is quite traditional, which is supposedly allowed on the 29th of February. Hopefully, has a letter for one, yeah, because there's 2 chances of being proposed to or at on that day. So who knows? Anyway. So hopefully you're all doing well, hopefully you're all healthy, hopefully you haven't succumbed to any kind of flus or viruses that are going around at the moment. Obviously the one that we're all worried about is pretty bad and starting to get a little bit out of control, as some of us have found out when you're actually trying to buy stuff at the moment. What is going on with that? Shops are starting to empty, you can't buy face masks or alcohol gel in shops at the moment. It's like it's the end of the world. Yeah. Very, very, very strange times. Computer stuff is starting to go up in prices because of there's not a lot of stuff about. Prices are going up, so if you're looking at buying stuff, now is definitely a good time to do it. And if you're going to do it now, do us a favour, try and use our affiliate links. Every little helps, and it is quite a little because Amazon aren't the most generous, but every little helps, like I said. So hopefully it's all good. So let's say some quick hellos to those people that are in the chat and have joined us earlier on. They got quite a few of you already in the house, so we've got Sky Stalker, Angry Doge, Aletta Liano, Jasmine, Craig, Glenn's in the house. Glenn, congratulations to Glenn today. He had a special thing happen today. He managed to get #1 spot on 3D Mark, so nice one, mate. Well done. Oh, and already we've got a super chat come in. Fantastic. Although it's partly blocked by my cup and the other stuff there. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. That's £10, and that has come in from... Who has that come from? Captain Meets Adventures, £10. Mr. Saturday Night. Well, I'm going to try to be.
You need to sing every time.
And for £10, I really should earn my keep. So
dance.
Let's hope this is a good stream tonight.
Sing or dance.
So who else we got in the house tonight? We have got Jaya G. Joe.
How'd you say it?
I probably got that completely wrong. 80s horror fan, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Kath's in the chat as well, obviously, because she's kind of there. Bills and Coins is back, saying it's the end of the world as we know it. Sounds like a tagline from a very good song. Aletta says, the best thing to happen today, this live stream. Well, bless you. That is very, very kind of you. So what do you think? This is my new setup. So at the moment, I'm running my Lumix camera through my HD60 into my laptop, which is hiding here. And yeah, so I've got everything all in one place, so I can end the stream, do stuff. I don't have to keep on reaching round, although a reach round sometimes is handy, but in this case, it's not so good. So don't have to do anything. It's all here in front of me on the laptop, which is currently supported by a piece of wood to stop it overheating. First world problems, everybody. So it's all good. Oh, Aletta says she's not kind, she just doesn't have a life. Okay, fair enough. I can work with that. Craig Pello says, Mike can do a party boy dance whenever he gets a super chat.
Get those snapper pants.
I have got some snapper pants somewhere. I know, Kath's chat's them away. I did have some crocodile snapper pants, which I could have done party boy dance with those on. That'd really make you sick. Sick to your stomach.
Poor old dad.
Captain Me's Adventure says, I bought the kids an LCD whiteboard for £8. That sounds interesting. Tony Pepper's in the house. Hi Tony, how you doing? And Tony, thank you very much for sharing all of our posts on Facebook and also sharing probably every other giveaway that is known to man on the internet. So well done, Tony. Happy days. And on Twitter as well. The same goes for all you guys, Glenn as well, specifically for all you guys that do help share our content. It is really, really appreciated. We do, well, we couldn't have got as far as we have without you lot. So thank you all very, very much. So you probably, obviously, the title of the video today, let's get straight into that. We'll have a quick discussion about the title of the video. Also as well, we will be doing at some point, probably later, the giveaway for the Black Pods or the Pro Pods Matte Black version 3, whatever you want to call them. If you want a set of Apple clone AirPod Pros, don't forget, head on over to the Facebook link, put a comment in the video thing that we've done, and then later Kath will do a draw, and drawing comments from that section, one of you is going to win. And from what I can tell at the moment, because everyone's either sick, dead or dying, not many people have entered, so you've got a super, super good chance of winning these. So if you want to win them, enter. It's a worldwide giveaway, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we will post them out to you. No expenses spared. You may not actually get them. They may be stuck in a Chinese sorting centre for the next 2-3 months. Who knows? But you've got to be in it to win it. So if you want to win them, you know what to do. So let's chuck those back over to Kath. They didn't slide off the desk. So they are going to be put aside, ready for one of you lucky people. You lucky people. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Right, let's get on to talk about MSI Dragon Centre. Now, those of you that know me know I really do love my RGB, as you can tell. That thing behind me and pretty much everything else, even the disco ball is RGB, everything's RGB. Hell, I'd even wear RGB pants if I could get them.
You don't have RSB. Red Spoke Bowl.
Oh, red spoke bowl. Sorry, completely off track there. So anyway, RGB. I love my RGB, but I hate it when I can't synchronize it. Now at the moment, if I creep my head to one side slightly, you will see that the RAM in the back of there, the V-Color RAM, doesn't synchronize with the ASUS motherboard. Everything else syncs in there, no problems at all. They've got the in-win fans, in-win case, even the front panel. It all synchronizes lovely, apart from the RAM. And also, when you plug in other things, it doesn't always work with the ASUS Aurora software. And trying to get yourself an ASUS Aurora compatible keyboard and mouse, hell, you need to sell a kidney or some body parts or donate sperm or whatever it may be. Yeah, there's things you need to do or things you have to go through in order to afford these luxury items. But along comes a contender. MSI and their Dragon Centre. Now, obviously, I wouldn't have known about this anyway, unless our kind friends at MSI hadn't sent us over this little care package. But they sent it through. I did kind of beg a little bit, but they sent it through. My big thing was, look, I like stuff, I like RGB, but I want it to work together. I don't want to have umpteen different pieces of software all intertalking to each other and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I just want it to work. Is it too much to ask? Oh, and we've got another super chat. Captain Me's Adventures. Another £2.50. Thank you so much. And no, I haven't died of the Carling virus, or the Carlsberg virus, or the coronavirus, or any of those other things. Although you're not supposed to say the coronavirus, are you? Because you get demonetised. But hey, what the hell? Who cares? It's only money. I'd rather have health. And we've got a latecomer in. We've got Junk from Work. Captain Junk from Work's in house. Also, Matthew Day's in the house as well. And Kev from ClickTech UK is in the house also. Good to have you all along. So anyway, getting back to the program, so to speak. So MSI sent these bits and pieces across for us to take a look at, and I said I want it to work together. I can't be dealing with all this kind of mismatched stuff. It looks horrible. It upsets me. I can't sleep at night. I'm literally, Kath will verify this, up to like 4 o'clock in the morning, tossing and turning, mostly tossing, trying to work out what motherboard goes with what works with what's going to look nice, so that it looks good for when I do a build for you guys and girls out there, so you can watch your stuff and don't have to be physically sick watching all these individual things strobing and going crazy. So, these devices here, the MSI Clutch GM30 gaming mouse, supports the MSI Dragon Centre. As you can see, it's got an RGB logo there. Now this isn't Mystic Sync or Mystic Light. It kind of works with it, but it's not really part of that. It is, but it isn't. It's difficult to explain. There will be full videos on each one of these, so you can catch up. You can catch up with the individual parts and see how the whole thing comes together in the very end. But spoiler alert, I have actually connected all this stuff up today and built a little mini system on the desk, and I can verify 100% that all of this works together, synchronizes, and it looks absolutely wonderful. It genuinely does. But it hasn't broken the bank. Well, it hasn't because they sent it to me for free. But if I was to go out and buy this, which I actually probably would, just to get it all synchronized, it isn't going to cost an absolute fortune. Now the keyboard, which the review video of this actually will be dropping tomorrow morning, Kath? No, Monday morning this will be dropping. Sunday is a day off, so you can catch up on the live streams and that kind of stuff. But Monday morning, 6 AM UK time, this video will be hitting for the Vigor GK30 keyboard, which is not a mechanical keyboard, which some of you are immediately going to turn off, be disgusted, get upset, start phoning Greta, protesting in the middle of Bristol, and generally not liking it. But if you haven't used it, actually no, I'm not going to go down that route. Get one, try it. It may not be mechanical, but it feels mechanical and it's nice to type on, and it works with RGB. So if you're a real keyboard snob and you cannot have anything in a mechanical keyboard, there is actually a mechanical version of this, which is the GK40, which is going to go up in price a little bit. But if you want to save a little bit of money, but you still want that RGB bling, GK30 is definitely the way to go. The headset, again, it's got RGB illuminated earphones, pads, whatever you want to call them. The outside bit. What do you call the outside bit? Covers, speaker covers, grill covers, whatever it is. Basically, that is RGB. That also works. You can go into the Dragon Centre and you can select the individual components. So the clutch GM30, the the GH50 headset, the GK30, and also the motherboard, and also the RGB headers on the motherboard. You can select them all individually, or actually, and another thing, the V color RAM, which is in the PC behind me, I put that on there. Immediately it finds it in the Dragon Centre software, and it gives me an option to synchronize that as well. So I've got my RAM, I've got my motherboard, I've got my RGB strips, I've got my keyboard, my mouse, I've run out of fingers, also the headset, everything. That's 6 things all synchronized in the MSI Dragon Centre. I don't have any other things. I don't have loads of different bits of software. I've literally got one piece of software, the Dragon Centre, which also actually is really good because you've got temperature monitoring, fan control, app updates, everything all in one software suite. It is actually, you're probably thinking, oh crap, it's bloatware, not interested, not going to happen. But seriously, you can download it on your PC. You don't have to have an MSI motherboard or peripherals in order to download the software. Try it, download the Dragon Centre, see what you think of it. If you like it and you can work with it, start adding some components to it and you can synchronize your system. There are other bits and pieces which do work with the MSI ecosystem, which you can go to if you go to Dragon Centre, look at what is compatible. There's an absolute ton of stuff which is compatible, so Corsair stuff, various other stuff you can check out, but it will actually work with it and it looks really good. So I'm going to be doing a build coming up in the case which we reviewed this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the Silverstone Farah B1, which is a really nice case but has got RGB in it. So I'm going to get that synchronized, all the RGB in the case, with the motherboard, with the strips, with the keyboard, with the mouse, with the headset and the RAM, and it's going to look absolutely awesome. So I am super excited to do that. Hopefully that'll happen towards the tail end of the week, but we'll see how things go. But I think it's going to be great. I haven't actually bought into the MSI ecosystem for a long time. I've been primarily Asus and ASRock, which have been my real favourites. But I'm starting to change a little bit. MSI have actually turned my head. The B450 boards, this one in particular, the Gaming Plus Max wigging, which there'll be a full review of in the coming days, this is actually a really good board, considering its price. In the moment, you can pick these up on Amazon for about £79, which, considering most motherboards now are going skywards of 100, this is pretty cool. It actually has the same chips, the same VRM, basically everything on it is the same as the not the Pro Carbon. Yeah, I think it is the Pro Carbon. And the Tomahawk, definitely the Tomahawk. So the Tomahawk is well known to be probably the best B450 motherboard out there. But spec for spec, that is the same board. It's just £20 cheaper. It doesn't have addressable RGB on it. It only has regular RGB, which is kind of a little bit of a null point because we're using Mystic Sync to control everything else anyway through USB, etc. So it's not really a big deal. But that board is a great board. And as soon as I took it out the as soon as I took it out of the box, immediately it's like, wow, this is a pretty heavy board. It's actually got some serious weight to it. You've got multiple layer density PCB. You've got massive heat sinks on the VRMs and also the other part. I can't think what it's called. At the top, you know what I mean. Next to the power connectors, it's got loads of heat sinks on it. So this is going to be a really good board. It's been rated as one of the best or one of the better of the B450 chipset based boards. So yeah, $79.99. Pretty pleased. I actually, when I first got it, it said in the listing there it was Mystic Sync compatible, which is what turned me onto it first of all. I thought, oh, it's the same as the Tomahawk, let's go with that. But after finding out that it isn't, it's Mystic Lite compatible, but not Mystic Sync compatible, two different things. So I actually got on the chat to Amazon today and said, I'm not happy, this isn't what it is described to be, I want to send it back. And actually I have got, if I reach over, just so you know that this isn't just BS, there is the Royal Mail returns label to send it back. So it's not like I'm making this up, this is genuine. I was going to send the board back, but I thought actually before I send it back, let's just plug it in, set it up, have a basic setup, install Windows on it, see what it's actually like. And actually I think I'm going to keep the board. I genuinely think I am. I don't think I'm going to spend the extra £25 on the Tomahawk. I think I'm going to stick with that one. I might actually get the Tomahawk after, just to compare the two and see if there is actually a viable or justifiable difference between the two. I genuinely don't think there's going to be.
Things on the head, things are called cups.
Oh, cups. Kath's telling me, so whoever said that in the chat, those are called cups. Excellent. I could do with some cups myself, actually. Getting a little bit, putting on a bit of Christmas weight. Even though it's not Christmas, but you get the idea. So, anyway, yeah, there is pretty much my story. Now, the mouse, the Clutch GM30, I didn't think I was going to get on with that, but actually, very, very nice mouse. Spoiler alert, I actually really do like it. Compared with the Corsair RGB, the the M55, the Rio Toro Nadix, and also the Rio Toro Oryx, which are my kind of main kind of go-to mice that I tend to use. At the moment, that one actually feels more comfortable. It's got the kind of same shape and size as the Cooler Master Keys Lite mouse, which I actually really liked because it's slightly smaller. But that is a really nice balanced mouse. So that, well, this whole setup may actually become, it's difficult. I don't think it'll become my daily driver because my daily driver is my video editing PC. But this might be a very, very close second and may actually end up replacing that one behind me. So yeah, it's all change here. We're doing lots of changing around. We've actually this week kind of working on the stream and all what's going on, and because of the problems we've had previously, I've decided now the stream was going to be run off the video editing PC, but then that causes problems because I can't control the keyboard and mouse because it's over there. So I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll do it from the laptop. It makes a lot more sense. It's all contained, compact, and then I can actually take the laptop anywhere and the camera anywhere, and I can live stream from pretty much anywhere as long as there's a power source and internet.
And you'd have to leave the house.
Yeah, and I'd have to leave the house, which probably won't happen, but anyway, you get the general idea. So that is now going to be the streaming PC. So that means the PC behind me can change on a more regular basis, so to keep things fresh, keep things exciting, and also means that if I mess around with that during the week making videos and I manage to screw it up, it isn't like a kick bollock scramble trying to get it all working again for the Saturday night streams, which takes the pressure off of me. Fantastic. So Kath says, which means I have to go to the questions. So let's take a look at the questions and see what it is. Have I missed anything?
I don't really checking it too much.
Aleta's being a killjoy. I'm not using any RGB software. It's all been turned off in the BIOS. Aleta. Really? Come on. You're in Ohio or wherever. You need to have some colour in your life because that is just one grey city. You need to get some lights in there, make it all nice and bright. Pretend it's like Christmas every day. So, Adam from the Blind Divide says, playing with the big boys, care packages from MSI. Well, it's not really a care package as such. Luckily, I have what is known in the trade as a CAF. And CAF bombards all these sellers and suppliers with emails and begging letters saying, please can you send my husband some stuff because he's getting on my nerves and I need to take his mind off of things, so please can you send him some stuff for him to look at. And generally 9 times out of 10 it actually works out. So it's pretty sweet.
I'm not sure I understand.
Does anybody know how to turn Siri off on your watch? There must be a way of doing it. If you have, let me know in the comments.
We'll make a video.
Yeah, and I'll make a video on it later. See people in the chat talking about the DRAM shortage, which I'm not even sure if that is a thing. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. There seems to be some good prices still. I think at the moment I don't think there's going to be a shortage because we're coming to the point where DDR4 is going to be starting to be phased out very soon. I would argue probably September, October. I think we'll start seeing DDR5 becoming a thing. Maybe before that, but I doubt it. Bjorn J says, I wanted to go with MSI, but their X570 board thermals are absolutely horrible. So I went with Asus, much better. Both MSI and Asus have central RGB software, Mystic Light and Aurora. Yes, I find Aurora to be buggy AF, I really do. I got it on that PC over there, I got it on that PC there, and also a PC which is in the works. Aurora Sync really seems to be either it doesn't work or it doesn't work well, which is generally why I tend to just leave it alone and let it get on with its own thing. But so far, touch wood, I found the Dragon Centre to be actually very useful. Alexa says she's got 5 sets of 32 gig RAM, should be enough to keep you going. Hell yes.
I'd love to see a PC box.
ClickTech Kev says it's about time MSI tied it all together in one software. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mystic Light, Mystic Sync, now all pulled in together with the Dragon Centre makes so much sense. And actually, seriously, if you haven't tried Dragon Centre, just check it out. It's really good. The fan monitoring software is really good. I would imagine that's probably more specific to the boards, but you could try it on another board. I haven't as of yet, but it may well work. The fan monitoring, now anyone who's tried doing fan monitoring with the Asus software, the Fan Expert is it, or Fan Expert 3, Fan Expert 4, it's pretty glitchy and it looks like something out of the kind of 80s. Whereas the new updated version in the Dragon Centre actually does look the business, and I managed to set an absolute killer fan profile on this MSI board. I did the fan monitor, or the fan magic I think they call it, so it detects the fan speeds, the high points, the low points, all that kind of stuff, and it just made me plot this beautiful curve for cooling. So it's just nice and cool, and then as it gets towards that kind of scary edge, it just rockets straight up. Whereas a lot of the other softwares, they don't detect the low points, or they leave you at 60%, and it's like, well, come on, the fan will do less than that in DC, surely. But the MSI software seems to, again, touch wood, seems to have just picked it up. So I am super happy. It's unusual that I do make that kind of, that shift in where I go with my kind of allegiances or my recommendations. It used to always be Asus, it genuinely did. Asus and ASRock. ASRock are still good, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately some of their boards, although they've got a lot of features, a lot of ports, and also the RGB and all that kind of stuff, and also the price point, obviously ASRock boards are very good priced, but they lack on thermal sort of things like the VRMs. They do lack on, definitely they struggle on that. Voltage regulation, they do struggle a little bit as well. So for lower end systems, definitely, but for mid-range and high-end stuff, I think really nowadays, especially with the AMD, we do have to start looking carefully at the motherboards that we're buying, and also to make sure they're actually compatible. Which, speaking of which, leads me on to a lovely segue into another video which I've just made yesterday. Edited today, made yesterday. So, no kidding, I would say at least every day I get at least 10 questions, if not more, asking, does this motherboard support this processor? So finally I've made a video which covers it all in one easy swoop. So whether you want to know about RAM, whether you want to know about CPU, whether you want to know about motherboards, If you want to know what to buy, what will work with what, how to find out what will work with what, I've done it in a single video. So now if you've asked the question in the comments, will my motherboard work with this? You will get the default TubeBuddy answer, which would be go and see this video for more information. So that's going to save me a ton of time because I probably spend about an hour a day answering those kind of questions. It is ridiculous when most people could probably Google it for themselves. So I'll put the information together so people can do it.
That'll be released Tuesday.
Anyway, yeah, that'll be Tuesday possibly. Bunsu Dread says no probs. I'm a terrible DJ, so up front on that score.
Cups.
Oh, about the cups. Okay, right. Alexa says the B450 Pro Carbon was a good motherboard. Mine's in a box in my spare parts box.
I want to see that box.
Kath wants to see your box.
Can she post a picture of her box on Discord?
Yeah, Aletta, did you hear that over the microphone? Aletta's, Kath's asked if you could post a picture of your box to Kath on her Discord, please.
Or Twitter.
Or Twitter, yeah, whichever. Donglong Kwa's in the house. Good evening to you. Our multiple prize-winning member. Craig Pello says I bought the MSI Mag 2041 CPUK 24-inch curved gaming monitor the other day. It's lovely. They do make some good monitors actually, MSI. Fair play to them, they really do. Captain Meets Adventures, are you going to give Disney Plus? No. Not until the next series of the Mandalorian comes out, in which case I might think about it.
You thought?
I've thought about it. No, not going to do it. Matthew Day says, mine has green and my keyboard and mouse has blue. I was really looking for a blue fan case when I built that. Do I get that? Yeah, that makes sense, yes. Craig Pello says, my Apple Watch has been doing that loads recently after the last update. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah, I actually find it really useful. Today I went to pick up George and I was driving, I had my phone on the side and I needed to send a message to say, like, I'm running late, I'm stuck in traffic. And I did the, hey, send a text message, and it actually worked and it's perfect. And I was really, really impressed that I didn't have to unlock the phone with my face or nothing. It was really good because I had the watch on, I guess. Excellent stuff. Skystalker says, lol, there has to be a motherboard and chipset in order to have DDR5. I don't think we'll see it until at least 2021. Now, I've got a theory which kind of happened with the AM2 Plus boards and AM3. When we were on that initial changeover, I'm pretty sure I remember that there were multiple manufacturers which actually would allow DDR3 and DDR2 on the same board. Not at the same time, but on different channels. And also some of the AM2 Plus processors worked with DDR3 and also DDR2. I think I'm trying to think which one it was now. I think it's the Athlon X4s would work with both. And I can quite easily see that happening. I know coming up in March/April, there's going to be the B550 chipsets will be released as a full retail product. That is pretty much going to be a certain. Although with the Chinese thing going on at the moment, that may be shifted back a little bit.
Maybe.
It's definite maybe, yeah. But I would definitely say that if they announced the new AMD 4000 series, and I reckon that the 4000 series will work with both DDR4 and 5. I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. I would be amazed if they don't. It would make a lot of financial sense for them to do that because of the limitations of DDR4 with the new interconnect. What is it called? The fabric thing, Infinity Fabric. So I think they may need to go DDR5 to squeeze even more out of it. But again, we'll see what happens when it comes. Oh, I've missed loads of stuff there. What has gone on? British Noob says, sorry to disappoint, but I have arrived. Well, thank you. It's nice of you to join us. Happy days. British Noob says he is also curious about Aletta's box. Oh dear. Let's get off that subject. Okay. British Noob actually says there was a few motherboards with DDR3 and DDR4 support from China. Very, yeah, that is exactly right. Skystalker says, interesting theory considering that the memory controller is on board the chips these days. Yeah. For the Lol says, I've heard a bit of mixed bag for the Dragon Centre. Now actually that was one thing I did look into before I started getting into this too much. I did look into the Dragon Centre a little bit and Mystic Sync, and you are absolutely right. The Dragon Centre, if you search Dragon Centre won't start or won't load or whatever, there are a ton of people that have had problems with it. But had, hopefully being the operative word. From what I can tell with the updates and the new version, it actually seems to work really well. A lot of the problem was there is an MSI SDK kit, which is like a developer kit, which was available to third parties, so they could tailor their RGB equipment and peripherals to work with the MSI software. The SDK kit wasn't properly installed on a lot of systems, and also wasn't installed properly with the original version of Dragon Centre. But now it appears that the SDK kit is a mandatory installation with the Dragon Centre, just to avoid those problems or any kind of third-party issues with other development kits that have been used, if that makes any sense. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it should be totally stable. And at least from my initial testing today, it seemed to have been, it loads up first time, every time, and it just works, which is essentially what you want. You just want to turn your PC on for all your stuff to work and for it to all look cool. So when your friends come round, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever it may be, when you go into your room and your PC's all flashing away and it all just looks all kind of cool and sexy, that's what you want. You don't want error messages on the screen or this program could not start, because that sucks and it makes you look like a noob. We don't like that at all.
British noob.
Okay, so Games Online says, hi, can I have free stuff please? Yes, you can if you enter the competition and you win. You're more than welcome to free stuff if you win. If you don't win, then no. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other stuff we've done this week and also some of the other stuff I've bought this week. This week has been a very expensive week. I went out and bought, well, I didn't go out because that would involve leaving the house. Not in this day and age, that's what Amazon's for. I bought a Sony a6400 camera and I tried it out, and I gotta be honest with you, it sucks. Now, a lot of people will probably get upset and go, what are you talking about? The a6400 is an amazing camera, it's got amazing specs. I'm getting tied up on my microphone. It has got great specs, it's got a great sensor, the autofocus is absolutely ridiculously good, but it has no stabilization whatsoever. And for me doing the stuff I do, like for this kind of thing, perfect, no problems at all, it'd be absolutely amazing. Although saying that, you probably wouldn't notice a difference in the quality of the picture, if I'm brutally honest. There isn't a great deal of difference. Even if you go to 4K, it's very difficult to notice a difference. Maybe a slightly shallower depth of field because of ASP sensor rather than a micro four thirds. But anyway, I'm probably boring you all to tears. Essentially, the camera, when you're using it handheld, is awful. They marketed it as a vlogger's camera with the flippy up screen, which is in the way of the microphone if you've got a microphone on board. So that's like stupid. But 750 quid against the Lumix, which cost me like 500 3 years ago. The new version of that, the G80, is what I possibly might get another one of to add to that, just to give a bit more stabilization. But when I'm doing my product shots, you've probably noticed it when you've watched the videos. Say for instance, I've got this mouse. So I'll have the mouse on the table, I'll have the light angled on it, probably pretty much where it is now. And I'll do handheld and I'll do all this sort of stuff around the box, or maybe like hold it down and then gradually tilt it up.
Don't forget the, my back.
And I'll probably go, my back, which is why sometimes you hear, well, most of the time I should edit out the sound. But essentially I do handheld shots, so I do kind of panning shots. The G7 isn't the most stable of cameras. It has got no in-body stabilization at all. It's got in-lens stabilization, that is it, which is what the A6400 has got. But when I'm doing these tracking shots, because of the way that the rolling shutter affects that camera, the image warps and it looks absolutely horrendous. So although the actual picture quality is marginally better, not really the difference between like 1080 and 4K, but just a slight increase in performance. So it's got to go back because I just cannot use it. I cannot.
It's just for your needs, it's not really.
Yeah, for my needs, it just doesn't work. If you're doing anything handheld with it, vlogging, or you want to do any sort of artistic work, or you just want to use freehand photography or video, avoid the A6400 like the plague. It's not a good idea. Do yourself a favor, save yourself probably £500 and buy yourself a Lumix G7 secondhand. And that camera, love you Lumix, you're a damn good camera. That G7 is awesome. Kath thought I was talking to her because she's behind the camera. No, the camera, oh, I love you too. But the camera has done me really well. That was probably one of the best investments ever. And it's still to this day, the quality of the image is pretty decent. Even with the kit lens on there, phenomenal. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, I bought that camera, 750 quid, so that's going back to Amazon. I bought the power adapters. Yeah, sorry Kev on your Amazon link. The power extra charger, which actually was really good for the camera, but unfortunately because the camera's going back, it's about as much use as a chocolate teapot. I actually bought some ND filters as well, and a lens adapter, an electronic lens adapter, just so I could get closer. Because that was another thing. With the G7, the focal point, or the closest focal point, so say for instance you're taking a picture of that. Now most of you are using point and shoot cameras, you're used to using like the macro setting on your camera. So you can probably get like here, and you can get a decent close-up. Now with like a kind of a big camera, or a, what do you call it, a kind of semi-professional camera, lenses don't do that. They don't go macro unless you buy a macro lens. If you want zoom, you have to buy a zoom lens. Or the kit lens does a little bit of both, but not quite. So with the G7, I can probably get about that far away, no, probably about there, and it'll still focus. Whereas the Sony, I was kind of like about a foot away. So if, for instance, like text on the side of a box, you're trying to focus on that and you're trying to see it, and it's like, you can't do it. It's just impossible to use. So for me, it's a no. I'm out. Dragon's Den, no, it's not going to happen. So that is why the A6400 is going back.
But you have found a renewed love.
Yeah, I have found a renewed love for the G7, so it's happy days on that. And yeah, it is a great camera. And that is probably why so many people have bought the G7, especially on YouTube, because it's such a great camera. It genuinely is. Skystalker says, Mike, one thing I noticed when you were using your new camera is the autofocus was constantly changing. Drove me crazy. There you go. See? British News says, what was wrong with the camera? The quality looked a little bit poor, but didn't seem that bad. The quality looks a bit poor.
For £1,000.
Yeah, for nearly £1,000 by the time you bought all the kit, it's, yeah. Why? Why do it? Why do it to yourself? I think this quality actually looks fine. This is at the moment 1080p, 30 frames per second, streaming, and it looks pretty sharp. And actually, I'm looking at the screen over there.
And mine's probably not that.
And from what I can tell, the big problem is with most cameras is this light behind. So because most cameras do phase auto detection, it looks at different parts of the picture, and it'll look at me and it'll face detect me, but also it'll see that as a different light source, and it'll kind of hunt in between. So you'll see this blurring or kind of popping a little bit, which drives a lot of people mad. So you can either get rid of the light altogether and ignore it, or you can auto focus or manual focus, but that also gives it problems. But that was another thing. The Sony camera was supposed to not do that because of the superb autofocus, but it still was pulsing on that damn thing. So anyway, I digress. Skystalker says, this looks wonderful. Well, bless you. That's very kind of you to say. British News says, £1,000, holy shit, I can see, yeah, why now? Yeah, so that is going back. It would have gone back earlier, but unfortunately the Amazon locker that they wanted me to send it to my local shop, which is really local because that involves me leaving the house for too long. The Amazon lockers are full up. There's 3 returns lockers in my local co-op, and they're all full up. So I've got until the 30th of March, I think, to return it. So we'll wait until the locker's free or something else. Go on.
And it could have partly been user error because you did tell me
Yeah.
a lot worse.
Actually, yeah, it could have been user error as well with the camera, because when I first got it, it actually looked like a complete bag of crap. It looked awful. It really looked worse. It actually looked a lot worse than my iPhone, and that takes some doing because the iPhone is pretty poor, especially color-wise. But anyway, so yeah, spent a ton of money on all that stuff this week, so that's all going back. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might get another Lumix camera. I do want a multiple shot setup, because it's a real pain in the backside setting up a camera, then doing something from a different angle, and I want to get 2 shots of it. So that's definitely something we need to do. What else have we done this week? So we did the ProPods 3 matte black giveaways. That was towards the beginning of the week. The Rio Tornadix mouse. What did you think of that? I actually quite liked it, even though even though it is a right-handed mouse, I put up with it, and it's actually still on my desktop now, which, can I show you, actually? Can I show you, is there anything incriminating over there? Don't think so. So let's see if this this actually works now. I'm going to try and change, I'm going to change camera. There we go. Is that better? We got sound now? Oh, sorry, I am a bit of a dipshit at times. I know what it is now, it's because the HD60 is underlay and yeah, anyway, not like a carpet. Anyway, so as you can see, probably, there's the Nadix mouse on the desk. If you get close, you can just about see that.
Don't you move that box away?
What box? Yeah. Yeah, but then they can see your snot rag on the chair.
That's not my snot rag.
Kath's been blowing her nose into that.
I haven't.
See that thing? That is Kath's. She's been blowing coronavirus into that.
That's your clean one. I brought you.
And actually, while we're on this view, what do you reckon of the head? All shaven and stuff. That was another video we did this week. That was the, oh, what was it even called? Skull shaver. I should know this because ever since I did the skull shaver video, I've been absolutely inundated with ads on every single piece of internet thing I ever go on. Somewhere there's going to be a skullshaver.eu advert. And actually, it's not bad, is it? This has been, I haven't shaved it again since I did that video, which I probably released the day after I shaved it. So, did I do it Monday?
No, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Anyway, whenever I did it, it was, yeah, it's pretty cool. And actually, it felt really, really weird. I've never shaved my head completely bald before. So, yeah, that was quite a weird one. So, yeah, that took me a little bit of getting used to work out what was going on with that. It was quite weird, yeah, quite scary.
Wednesday night you did it.
I deliberately left my hair a little bit longer than I would normally to give the shaver a little bit of a run for its money. But fair play, it didn't like rip or tear or anything like that, which you normally expect. Yeah, there's actually no cuts as well, so it's all pretty good. It probably could do with doing again. It's still actually shorter now than what it would be after a good few days of using the clippers. So the clippers took it down to about, I don't know, about 1 millimeter or something, whereas this was literally to my head. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, the guys over at Skull Shaver actually really liked the video, and they said, do you mind if we use it for our advertising purposes? And it's like, whatever. Stick it wherever you, yeah, if they're putting a load of adverts out, if I got my t-shirt on, so Mike's Unboxing, it's a little bit of publicity, so yeah, why not? Enjoy that. So yeah, hopefully you guys found that quite funny. Muted, yeah, they've all gone, oh god, yeah, they've all said it. Glenn says it did a good job. Skystogger says shiny head for business meetings. Yes, I did say that actually. British Noob says, Mike, have you had a look at the Canon M50? I got recommended it from a few people. Maybe you could try it. I did actually, yes, I did look at that, the M50, and I did find it a little bit interesting. I was considering that. But there are a few downsides to it, which Sean Canal, who's does Think Media and video influencers, he's done a few reviews on it, and they're actually giving one away at the moment, which I've entered their giveaway, so you never know, I might get one anyway. So yeah, I might still, I had a Canon to begin with, which Adam from the Blind Divide kindly lent me, the 1100D, which is actually a really good camera. It didn't have a flippy out screen though, which was really distracting. The zoom was great on it and the lens was good on it as well. Buntu Dread says, bad to the skull bone. Yes, it was. It was really good. I like that shaver. It was impressive. It's not the cheapest shaver out there, let's be fair. But essentially you do pay for what you get, and that thing was amazing. no nicks, no cuts. I actually found out after I was holding it wrong. I was holding it by the battery grip, which there is actually a grip on it, which it makes sense that you'd use that. But actually, I've seen other people where they have it kind of in between their fingers like that, like a Vulcan death grip, and they're just like doing all that with it from the actual heads themselves, which I didn't consider at the time. So I will try it again. No, I'm not going to do it now. Even though I could do it now quite easily because it's great because all the hairs seem to end up actually in the device rather than all over your shirt, which was pretty cool. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about other things. So what else? Oh, the Silverstone, the Farah, the B1 case. That completely shifting gears now. The last Silverstone case I had was the, what was it, the RL04, I think it was, that upside down Micro ATX one, which, don't get me wrong, was fantastic build quality, but the whole kind of upside down thing really threw me. And when I did the build in it, for some reason it just didn't work for me. It was a great case, really, really well built. The RGBs and all that kind of stuff was just really, really nice. But I don't know, there's just some, you know what it is, sometimes you build in something or you use something and it just doesn't work for you for some reason. You can't really explain it because in theory everything is there and it works as it should do. But it just, for me, that one didn't do it after all. But that one there, the Farah, considering the price of it, which is almost like half the price of the RL08, I think, yeah, RL08, I think it was. Yeah, for like 45 or, well, under £50 for that case, that is pretty special. Now, previously to that, probably the only competition it would have had at that price point would have probably been the Cooler Master Masterbox Lite 5, possibly the 3.1, you could put that into the mix. The Colink Stronghold, and maybe the Observatory at a push. Perhaps one or two other kind of GameMax cases towards the lower end, but I don't think any of them have got any kind of real competition against that Silverstone case. The two fans, all with separate PWM or DC control, the RGB, the filtration, the layout, the tempered glass is actually really nice, and it's quite lightweight and it's quite compact as well, so it fits into most kind of build setups. And actually, I am going to do a build in the Silverstone, the Farah B1. I'm going to be actually using all of this MSI stuff.
I said that earlier.
I think I did say it earlier, yeah. So I'm going to go through again. I'm going to put it all in there, and it's very possible that it's going to end up behind me on that shelf instead of the in-wing for a little while, and just see what people think of it, see what difference it is, and actually see what the thermals are like. I have, talking about thermals as well, those eagle-eyed amongst you, he says looking over there when you're over there, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have possibly have seen this little gem in the background. The Thermaltake Contact Silent 12. Now most of you have probably never heard of this at all, but this is actually a little gem which I found on Amazon, which again we'll be reviewing and I'll put some links in. But this is effectively the same cooler, or within reason, exactly the same cooler as the GameMax 400, which we reviewed a while back, which in itself is pretty much identical to the Cooler Master 212 Evo, which again is very similar to the Arctic Freezer 34 and 33, the standard editions. So you've got kind of 3 or 4 coolers there, all around a similar kind of ability cooling wise, varying prices. Now the Cooler Master is obviously going to be the most expensive because it's Cooler Master and that's the way they roll. The next one down I think would have been the Arctic Freezer 34. At the moment on Amazon it's £20, which is, I think is actually fantastic value for money. It does differ every now and then, goes up and down. The Cooler Master 212 Evo is about 25, or if you go for one of the crazy RGB versions, it's like £100 or something stupid. It's not, it's about 45, but you get the idea.
Alexa's yawning.
Alexa's yawning, oh dear.
Air coolers.
Air coolers, yeah, obviously. Well, I could pour water over it, that might help. I don't think it will.
Bring some hose pipe in.
Yeah, we'll put some hose pipe on it. But at the moment, this Thermaltake one actually is cheaper than the GameMax version, which is the GameMax 400, which is, at the moment, I think it's about £22, maybe £21. This is down at about £17 at the moment, which for a 120mm cooler of the similar sort of capabilities of, like I said, the 212 Evo, which has always been known as being a great cooler, air cooler wise. 3s are 34, 3s are 33, very similar, within a couple of degrees difference of each other. this one actually is really nice and easy to fit as well, because you've got the GameX style clip as well, spring clip, so you just push it over. You don't have to worry about putting a new backplate on. You don't have to worry about new bolts. Literally leave the motherboard intact as it is and just push the fittings over. Really, really nice and simple. And the base of this cooler, the copper heat pipes are properly exposed and it's all been milled really, really well. So it's a completely, almost mirror finish on the bottom for the actual bottom plate and also the cooling pipes. So I'm actually really, really interested to see how this works. I have installed it very briefly today on this, because that's what is going to end up going in, I think. But even idling in here with the Ryzen 5 2600, this was idling about 36 degrees, which, considering it's about 24 degrees in here, so to be about 12 degrees over ambient for just idling, it's actually pretty decent. Even the motherboard temperature is reading the same. So the CPU and the motherboard heatsink were both reading at 36 degrees C, which for the CPU to be the same temperature as the motherboard is pretty awesome in my opinion. So really looking forward to see how this goes. I'll do some comparisons against the 240mm coolers as well to see if there's much difference or much benefit actually of having a AIO 240mm over something like this price performance. So that's going to be interesting to look at. Well, I think it will be. What do you think? Let me know. I'm going to have a quick look in the comments. And actually, where's my cup of tea, Kath? Can you pass that over to me? Sorry. I'm so lazy. Although saying that, my back is feeling better today. I've not been completely disabled today, which has been really good. My back has been playing up for about best part of a month really, since I started getting the cold that I had ages ago. I kind of done my back in doing something relatively stupid anyway, like overstretching. And it's just been a nightmare ever since to try and get it back together. But today is the first day, touch wood, that it's actually not been too bad at all. A few little twinges, but it's actually been bearable, and I don't have that kind of stomach ache or all that kind of stuff where the nerve is just like constantly under pain. Anyway, moving on from that, let's not talk about painful testicles or all that kind of stuff. Oh dear. ClickTech Kev says, on the subject of cases, what's your favourite you've ever built in or reviewed? I would say that my favourite case I've ever reviewed is probably one of the Cooler Master ones, purely because the amount of interest it got and also the amount of kind of hate, but also agreement I got as well. Yeah, I got loads of personal hate on that. The Q300L was like really bad, and people really did go after me on that. But I did the review on it and I found it to be quite a hot box, despite the fact that it's all perforated, but the air just doesn't move inside it.
When you reviewed it, you did like it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. When I reviewed it, when I took it apart and unboxed it, I did actually like it. I thought this is great. But then when I built in it and actually used stuff in it, it turned out to be like a thermonuclear nightmare.
It was your fault to use hot bits, or you used...
Yeah, I did use overly warm bits. I used a FX 8350 and an R9 290. So I was using hot components in there, or was it a GTX 780, something like that.
But it was full of holes.
But no one said, it's basically a tea bag. You would expect it to do much better than it did. And it was about 3 or 4 months later when Steve from Gamers Nexus actually did a review on it also about the thermal performance of it, and said that it was shockingly bad considering the holes. And it was right. Basically, you've got a hole, and then the filters on the outside are a hole over a hole. And because the holes are so widely spaced, you're blocking off probably 50% or 60% of the total fan area. So it was just an awful case. But when Steve did that review, I felt personally that my findings were vindicated and that what I'd said was true to my word and what my findings were. So despite the fact I got a load of hate for it, from like the Cooler Master fanboys and that, I'm actually quite proud of that video, because I stood up for what I thought, and then to find out later that my thoughts were reflected by someone who I actually quite respect in the PC industry was like, yeah, that's good job there. Well done, Mike.
But we did turn the comments off because it got
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Kev. Blah blah blah, water cooling, blah blah blah, water cooling. Actually, talking of water cooling, today we actually had a Cooler Master AIO returned. One of our benefactors of Mike's Unboxing kindly donated a Cooler Master 240mm AIO cooler to one of our YouTube viewers or Discord users. So they'd actually got it. I bought a couple of them from Amazon. They were completely sealed in the packaging, but unfortunately the one that was donated to a viewer actually had a leak. And it's actually, where is it? It's packed up in the hallway ready to go back to Amazon. So luckily I had one here which I'd already taken out of the box and tested and knew that it was absolutely fine. So we did the swap over on that today. So that's all been good and taken care of. But it was a bit of a pain, and which kind of gets me back onto the thing of water cooling. Water cooling is great and it looks lovely, but it's so problematic. Was that Glenn's had a leak as well?
Yeah, he's out of the box.
Oh, what, the liquid freezer?
Yeah, I think so.
Glenn's asking, do you still use the liquid freezer too? Actually, at the moment it isn't. No, it's in the box underneath the desk. Why is he saying that? Glenn said mine also had a leak out of the box. Oh no. What was that, the Cooler Master one? I think the leaks probably aren't terrible. And for most people, if you don't mind getting involved in taking the plate off the CPU head, not the head, the pump assembly. If you take the top off, refill it with fluid, reseal it, generally you're going to be okay, but it does give you the kind of EBGBs a little bit. Ghost Adder's in the house and says my new PC is running nicely. Awesome. Glenn says the Cooler Master. Oh, that's a god. British Noob says my Cooler Master 120 Lite was terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, that is the thing with water cooling. It is prone. It's essentially it's like anything. Water is not designed to be contained. It's like the ocean. It's wild, reckless, and wants to escape all the time or drown you. All of those things. So, our man says, "Sir, love from India." Well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Right back at you. Right, the next thing. What else did I buy this week, Kath? Loads of crap, didn't I? Bought loads of rubbish. Oh, I know.
Watch that.
I bought Kath a new watch strap, yeah. Next one, is this a Switch? Now this is super boring, but if you have the internet or you have multiple PCs and you don't have a Switch, do yourself a favour, get yourself a Switch.
Nintendo.
Not a Nintendo Switch. If it was, it would cost a lot more money. This is about £20, and this is a 8-port hardware QoS Switch. Now, if you didn't know what that is, QoS stands for quality of service. So this Switch has actually got hardware built into it, so it detects the traffic and the type of traffic, and you can actually select high priority, medium priority, or normal priority, depending on which port you plug it into. So if you've got something which is mission critical, say for instance a live stream or a online game, which you don't need lag or latency or anything like that, then you can plug those devices into the high priority ports and they will get, weirdly enough, high priority, minimal lag, excellent packet direction, all that kind of stuff. So if you're using anything else and it's not hardware QoS, definitely worth investing in. But flip side as well, if you've got other devices, maybe like a couple of network printers or something which don't actually need a lot of bandwidth and can quite happily wait for a couple of seconds or whatever, minimal delay, you can plug those into the low dependency ports and they will quite happily work as they're meant to. But to actually have a piece of hardware inside the box which looks at the MAC address for each packet and says, right, okay, you are destined for that computer, so you need to go over there. Because normally a hub or a switch will work in the way that you've got data coming in and the data comes in addressed for a particular PC, and then it will then send that packet to every other PC on your network, even if it's the wrong PC. So you've got all that wasted bandwidth. So with a network with hardware QoS, you don't get that. It looks at the packet, it knows the IP address, it also knows the MAC address of the device it's intended for, and it goes straight to it and it doesn't bother the other devices, and also doesn't clutter your network with stuff. So if you've got a load of devices, like you've got mobile phones, PCs, Xbox, streaming PCs, whatever it may be, anything that's on your network, this is going to help to redirect those packets more efficiently. So definitely worth investing in. Now the reason I've done it is because my older switch that I've got is an old NextLink 5-port, and it's been running behind the desk for probably about 6-7 years, just sat there doing its own thing, and I think it's finally getting to the end of life, which is another reason why I've gone for the Zycell, I have to make sure I say it right, Zycell GS108B, because these guys are so confident in their products that they actually offer a lifetime warranty. So not your normal 1 year or 2 year in Europe, this has got a lifetime warranty. So if for any reason it fails, they will give you a brand spanking new unit, which I think for less than £20 is phenomenal. So we will be doing a very kind of slight review video of it. So for those of you that aren't interested, avoid it like the plague. But for those of you interested in networking and learning a little bit more about how packets work in MAC addresses and all that kind of stuff, feel free to... I'm not making cables. I might make cables, but not on video.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be very good. And this actually is going to start leading me into building a NAS, which we're looking at doing as well. So that's going to be coming up soon. Building a network attached storage device, because at the moment it's ridiculous. We've got files everywhere and it's just an absolute unorganized mess. And especially when I need to do something on the videos and it's on another PC or whatever it is. The home network's okay, but the switch that's over there is only 10100 anyway, so it's quite slow. So this is a necessary upgrade. So we'll be installing that and doing some benchmarks on it and seeing what the network throughput is like. Supposedly on Gigabit you should be getting anywhere between, well, if you're doing like SSD on one PC to an SSD on another PC, anywhere between 70 to 110 megabytes per second, which is fantastic. At the moment, probably lucky if I get 20 to 30, so that is going to be a big improvement. A Nazatosh, yes. Another thing which we've been working on this week as well, which you won't be able to see because it's on this, oh actually, here you can. Where are we? VirtualBox. So I did a video a little while back about the kind of hack or thing that happens to Google Chrome, where it comes up saying that you can't change anything because this is managed by your organization or whatever it is. So it basically stops you from removing things from Google Chrome or making changes in Google Chrome. It changes all your settings and can also be a redirect or kind of like a malware type thing. Sometimes it's not too much of a pain in the ass and you don't really notice it, but when you actually go into the system to try and change it, you can't change it because it says this is managed or maintained by your organization. A lot of people have said, can you do a version for the Macintosh? But I don't have a Macintosh. So, oh, what's going on here? So, I have done a quick, well, I haven't done the intro yet, but I'm basically going to do a video on how to set up or how to configure your own macOS Hackintosh box in a virtual machine. So you don't have to have dedicated hardware for it. So you can run it on your Windows 10 PC, but you can have VMware, so you can actually try what a Mac is like. And also for me, I can do some work on it and do the fixes and all those kind of videos without actually having to go out and buy another Macintosh, which is great news. So that opens. Oh, what's going on here? Start, you swine. Oh, I've broken it already. Oh, I know what it was, because I put the image file on a USB drive. Oh well, first world problems. So anyway, I'll be doing a tutorial on how to set it up and how to actually make it portable as well, which is hence why it's on a USB drive. So we'll be doing all that and yeah, going through it. So if any of you are interested in making your own Hackintosh or a virtual machine of a Hackintosh, then keep watching and again, let me know what your thoughts are. Would you like to see that? We will see what people want to see. Skystalker says I want to build a NAS as well. Skystalker says at Collector UK, I think AIOs are amazing, but having used both, I'd rather have air cooling. No pump failures, no water issues, and I can run it fast enough with a huge air cooler, but not as cool. Yeah. British Noob says, I got plans to build a NAS. Craig Pello says NAS video would be cool. Okay, looks like we'll be doing a NAS video then very shortly. Hopefully. The thing is with a NAS as well, it's like, what do you do? Do you do a build your own version? So using a PC case, throw in some hardware, put in your own software as well, configure it all yourself? Or do you buy like an off-the-shelf thing from Synology or something along those lines? It's a really tough decision. I have used kind of Samba file share servers before. There was one called SMB server, which was really good. Used that years ago. And actually that's got other things in it as well, like email servers and all that kind of stuff. So you can actually have a box which you can configure on limited hardware, and actually it does scale really well. We went from running like a couple of PCs up to installing it for an entire TV production, which was 250 plus users, which was absolutely insane. So potentially it can be done quite easily and quite cheaply actually, although it wasn't cheap for them. Anyway, moving on. And in fact, if they knew how much the hardware actually cost, they would shit themselves, genuinely. Arman says, sir, hub versus switch. I think I kind of answered that. Did I? Yeah. Yeah, I did answer that. Basically, yeah, a hub is got no intelligence to it whatsoever. So it takes all the information in and then distributes that information to every other user on the network. So it kind of floods packets everywhere, and there's stuff going around everywhere. It's not controlled or organized, and it's quite slow. Generally, hubs will be 10/100 megabits rather than gigabits, because gigabit stuff, if you're having that much packet information going across from like 5 or 8 users or more, it's just an insane mess, and you'd need a heatsink the size of that to keep the thing cool. So a switch has hardware where it looks at MAC addresses, IP addresses, and also the type of packet to try and route it in the right place. Well, not route it, to send it. It doesn't route things, because routers route things. There's a really good video actually called Hubs versus Switches versus Routers. If you're interested in networking, you should definitely check it out.
It's not hard.
British Noob says, could you build your own NAS? That would be awesome to see. Bunty Dread says, look into free NAS. I had an 8TB setup that I passed on 2 years ago. Alexa says, BRB, I have to stab my finger to check my blood glucose levels. Fair enough. Anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up everything. What else have we done? So, oh yeah, we did the video on how to remove the pups. So potentially unwanted programs or malware. That was the video that was released today. Actually, that's really useful, because some of the pups you don't even know is on your system until you check it out. And bizarrely, that video is done quite well. Not quite as well as the Silverstone Pharaoh. That video's gone like quite crazy. Done really well. Maybe a lot of people are interested in that. Maybe the too good to be true thumbnail kind of gave it away a little bit. Anyway, I think that is pretty much it for tonight's episode or stream. Ubuntu Dread says I might still have a LSI SAS controller somewhere.
Done the giveaway yet?
Oh, yeah, I haven't done the giveaway, have I? Yeah, that's of course.
Amazing.
How stupid. Right, okay, this is your last warning. If you haven't entered the giveaway, now is the time to do it, because I nearly didn't do it. How bad am I? I am the worst host in the world. Almost.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Amazing.
Cat's dead.
Boxing. Well, it's box skiing even. Do you want that one?
Kudos Motion Barbers. I've got an Asus workstation board without graphics, but there is a VGA header on the board, but no VGA port on the I/O. That's strange. Any idea what the header is for? Well, if it's definitely a VGA header with the blue insert, then it probably is a VGA output, or it could be a custom output for a breakout box of some sort. If it's a blue color coded header, then it is generally for it's pins. So if it's pins, that's an output, isn't it?
Your CPU might not have onboard graphics.
Yeah, not too sure. I'd need to see that. Alexa says, okay, 135, so not too bad. Diabetes sucks.
Oh, I didn't know she's diabetic.
Diabetes, what a bummer. That's a horrible, horrible thing. Genuinely, I didn't know there's 3 types of diabetes. There's type 1, type 2, and type 3, which is like essentially dementia, isn't it? Is that what we saw? But yeah, dementia they think is type 3 diabetes. Something like that anyway. Anyway, right, everybody entered into the giveaway. Let's give these darn things away. So this is from ProPods. These are the Black Pro, or Black Pods, ProPods Matte Black version 3. They got so many different names for these things, it's incredible. I think what it is, they make up the name, decide what they're going to sell it for, then their guy goes out and sources them, and they're like, well, these are really good, but we've already got the name on the box. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. They'll sell. Oh, here's an interesting one. Captain Me's Adventure says, do you think the next gen games consoles should have backwards tech on them? I guess you mean backwards compatible tech. Now, the new Xbox that's coming out is going to be fully backwards compatible with all Xbox games and titles and peripherals as well, I believe, as well. So we can play things like Simpsons Hit and Run on a 4K TV. How cool is that? Also, cool games like family games like Shrek 3. Those games were amazing. They were just really, really kind of family-oriented games where everybody could sit around, grab a controller, and play these games.
SpongeBob.
Unlike some of the newer ones where it's kind of a very isolated, insular experience where it's just you, your headphones, and some crazy beasties on the screen, like first-person shoot-em-ups. But some of the older games are really good and very kind of interactive, and they're a little bit of fun, which is what I want to see. So yeah, backwards compatibility on consoles I think is imperative for them to survive, because there is such a massive back catalogue of games. When did the Xbox, the original Xbox come out? Was it 1998, 99? So you've got like 2 decades of games available. It makes total sense. Yeah, SSX3, SSX Tricky, amazing games. Although they did do, I think they did do an updated version of SSX, didn't they, with all the graphics enhanced, which would have been very good. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think that not having backwards compatibility on a console is probably one of the biggest reasons why people don't upgrade. I think if backwards compatibility was guaranteed on a console, you'd be crazy not to upgrade, wouldn't you? Because you've got all the benefits of your existing game catalogue and peripherals, but you've also got the abilities of a modern console. Higher refresh rates, better sound, better graphics, everything, all those kinds of things. Yeah, it'd be madness, wouldn't it? So
you can't play old PC games, can you? So
yeah.
must be hard to
Old PC games are different because they go back a lot further, don't they? Into the games of like DOS and things, where DOS... Well, they're saying that you can get emulators now which run DOS games and all those old things, like GOG games. Runs all the old stuff really nicely. Captain Meets Adventure says, backwards is so important and it should never die. Yeah, definitely. Equable Program says, I bet all of my 11 toes he won't see this. 11 toes? You must be Welsh. That is the thing. Matthew Day says, DOSBox. Yeah, that's right. It's very true. Skystalker says, DOS games with multiplayer do not work. Oh, that's a shit. I remember one of the best games in DOS for me, I think, was Screamer, which was a 3D racing game. That was a great game. And also, Theme Park was good. Theme Hospital, that was good. What else was there in DOS that was really good?
Was Motocross?
No, that was Windows. Oh, there's so many good DOS games. Stormplay says hi. Hi. Equalable Program, how to get mod. $1,000. Oh, sorry, no, this isn't the Kerry Holzman show. Sorry.
Oh, Leisure Suit Larry.
Couldn't resist that.
Kev's a perv.
Kev says Leisure Suit Larry because he is a massive pervert.
Lula. No, is it Lula?
Lula. Yeah. Lula. What was Lula? She was like some stripper thing, wasn't she?
Yeah.
That was bizarre.
It was mine, not even yours.
Matthew Day says Worms.
And what are those little things? Lemmings. No, that wasn't it?
British Noob says he paid 3,000. What is this? Well, unfortunately, due to the Chinese slowdown, we've had to reduce prices for mods. So if you want a moderator spanner, then it's £1,000 or dollars.
Was Lemmings?
We're not picky.
DOS?
Day of the Tentacle. Lemmings. That was. I think that might have been Windows 95 though, but it might have been
Did
DOS
they
as well.
get New Year's Eve, the Millennium New Year's Eve, didn't they?
Yeah, that was Lemmings. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Oh, what was that game? SimCity 2000? That was DOS, wasn't it?
I think so, but we never really got into those.
Yeah.
They weren't as good as Theme Park.
Oh, Rebel Assault. For the Star Wars people out there. No, Rogue Squadron. That was it. Rogue Squadron. That was amazing. Dig Dug. MechWire 2. Repton. Doom. Of course, yeah, Doom, obviously. Quake. The original Quake. That was DOS, I'm sure it was. Yeah, Quake, I think it was DOS.
What was that Gold Digger one I had?
Oh, I can't remember. Descent. Oh, Collect It Kev, Descent. That was a great, great game. Descent was really, really good. That was, yeah, the control on that was amazing. Equitable Program says, okay, well, I'm poor and I guess not. So see you later. I subbed and liked and turned on notifications. Oh, bless you. Hopefully you entered the giveaway as well. Buntu Dread says, my first console was the Grandstand 1979. Programmed my first Snake EMU in 1984 on my Atari XL 800. Oh, man. Yeah, those old games.
Sphinx Adventure on the Atari, what was Acorn?
Aletta says, you guys are speaking another language, not being a gamer, I don't know any of these. And also, with you not being an old fart either. For those of us that are old enough to remember things like the Auric 48K, the Acorn Electron, the BBC Model B, the Spectrum 48K, the Amstrad CPC 464, the list goes on. The Tandy TRS-80, what else was there?
Atari ST.
Atari ST, Atari STFM. Then there was the Atari ST 1520, was it 520 STFM? I can't remember. There's so many models. Old Dragon 32. TRS-80 Model 1.
Commodore 64.
Yeah, Commodore 64, VIC-20, Commodore 16 plus 4.
Spectrums.
Yeah, Spectrums, we've been there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Captain Meets Adventure's first console was a Mega Drive.
Oh, did he have? Does anyone see my shamrock bag? Can't even do it in my voice.
That was one of our most played games on a console. Was on the Mega CD rather, which was the add-on for the Mega Drive, which was a game called Night Trap, and
Sing it.
it
Sing it.
was amazing. When you're done, or open up another tab, put in Night Trap Mega CD and just watch the video. It was the first full motion video game on a console. Unbelievable. There was another one as well, Sherlock Holmes Murder Mystery as well, but I wasn't quite so good at that.
I thought you completed it.
But it was good. Glenn says, my sister had a ZX Spectrum and I had a C64. And I bet you had a tape-to-tape deck, like a Ghetto Blaster, and you were ripping games all the time. Down to your local Tandy or Radio Shack, buy some blank C80s or, C60s or C90 tapes and copy those games and have the counter written on the box. So you had like about 15 games all on one tape, and you had all the little markers so you could rewind the tape and find the actual copied games. Those were the days.
Oh my god, yeah.
Click Take Your Cases. What was that game with Mark Hamill in it? Oh, I can't remember what it was now. That's like Starfighter 4 or something. Right, Kath, have you got the names ready? Are you ready to do this draw? Okay, so if you haven't done it already,
22.
I'm going to be giving away these and make sure they're still in there and I haven't already given them away to someone. So those are the instructions. You can sell that because it says the instructions on them. Couldn't be easier. Really couldn't be. And also we'll be giving these away, which is number 4. So there we go, there we go. There is the black paws. We'll be giving those bad boys away. See, still in the wrapper. Only because I put it back in the wrapper. I am an unboxer, I'm good at that sort of thing. So there we go, in the box, in with the instructions. And there we go. So Kath.
So that'd be a dick camera.
That's my Be a Dick camera, yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a little box just there or something, just saying, be a dick. And then I'll go do Be a Dick thing. It's weird because I've got a webcam on the laptop, which is literally there. That would have been so much easier just to enable that. Anyway, I'll move on. So, Kath, if you wouldn't mind.
Right, 22.
There's 22 unique visitors or entries. 22, so you've got a 1 in 22 chance. That's like a 1 in 22 chance.
We're going for it.
I think. Yeah. Go for it. Let's do it. Press the button.
Pushed.
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Dan Zar.
And the winner is Dan Zar. So Dan Zar, if you're in the chat, that name's been up before, hasn't it? Is that another multiple time winner?
I think it is.
It is. So Dan, well done. You've won again, I think. I'm sure that's a previous name we've drawn out of the hat.
Might have been window keys.
Oh yeah, it might have been Windows keys before.
I can look on Discord.
One of the two. So anyway, so Dan's. Oh, I didn't do the drum roll.
Oh no, it was. I think
There you go.
they won a DAC.
Oh yeah, last time Dan won a gaming DAC from Sharkoon, the mobile DAC. So you've got a DAC now to use with your wireless headset. That's going to come in handy. Couldn't have worked out better. There we go. Oh, Harvey Linden's in the house. Good evening to you, Harvey. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. You've missed me on the Be a Dick cam, unfortunately, but
You may not have done.
you can always rewind it depending on what time you got in. So, good old Dan. Skystalker says, some people are lucky, the rest of us not so much. Unfortunately, yeah, it's completely random on there. It is, after all, a random comment picker, so if you leave your comment on there, you've got a pretty good chance of getting pulled out of the hat. And also, we've had 2 people now, I think, if not more. Dan's won twice now. There's also Kwai.
Nick Hula.
No, anyway, there's another person who's won twice as well. So yeah, if you're in it to win it, you got put your name down. You can win stuff. Bills and Coin says, thanks you all, and to the lot of you, thanks. That sounds like something that...
Dan's won 3 times.
Oh, Dan's won 3 times?
Because he won I think that was the...
Actual shock and horror.
That was the license keys.
Oh, so it was license keys, a gaming DAC, and a set of headphones. See? That is one lucky viewer right there. I have to speak to the people who make that comment picker software and see if he works for them.
It's Bills and Coins.
Is it?
He's saying thanks to you all.
Oh, Bills and Coins is Dan Zar. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, Kath has just emailed or messaged you on...
Yeah. I
know, Kath's in the process of messaging you just to confirm you are the winner. Just reply back and we'll get that sent out to you. And if I remember rightly, Bills and Coins, are you in...
Americanos.
Texas, I believe. Or is it Arizona? That is Texas, isn't it? I don't know. Is it nearby?
In America,
I'm not too sure. My geography sucks. British noob saying it's fishy. Mike has it against me. It's not just me. It's most of us.
Oh, don't be mean.
I'm only joking. Aletta says it's a conspiracy. Yeah, we're going to be sending the. Bills and Coins says I'm in Tennessee. That was it. I knew it was somewhere kind of American. Skystalker says Arizona is not in Texas. It is near. Okay. Is Tennessee near Arizona and Texas? Someone help me out. My geography is absolutely bad. No one's answered. Anyway, so I think that's going to pretty much wrap things up. So coming up this week, we're going to be doing the build of all this MSI gear, and you'll be seeing some reviews of this. Genuinely check out the video for this. I know I say that about most videos, but actually genuinely check it out. This is, yeah, a little bit of an eye-opener for some. It's actually a decent little setup. The whole Dragon Centre stuff, even though I've only dipped my toes into the water of it so far, what I've seen at the moment I am impressed with. It is a very, very nice, coherent, clear, concise, easy to use interface, which I think we've been looking for a long time now. There's been so many wannabes and various different types of RGB software in fan control and temperature monitoring and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be so nice to have it all inside of one package. So anyway, keep tuned to see how that goes. Also, keep tuned if you want to learn how to build yourself a Hackintosh and potentially also a NAS. Whether or not that's going to work out this week or not, I do not know. We'll see what happens. We don't know. Actually, we don't know what's going to happen. Every day this week, I've been getting messages from our local health service saying, if you think you have CV, please don't come to us. Phone 111. And it's things are getting pretty scary out there. So hopefully, all of you take care, look after yourselves, look after your health foremost, and yeah, try and stay safe. So there we go. That's been the live stream for Saturday, 29th of February 2020. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch all of you in the next live stream. Thanks for watching.